Anybody who's anybody in any combat sport most likely has seen the movie starring Sylvester Stallone called Rocky, which debuted in 1976. The film went on to birth a whole franchise and inspire generations of fighters and boxers. The story of a random, hardworking man becoming the underdog and getting the shot at a world championship to change his life is truly a story that captivated millions of people. It was such a captivating story and so well done that people seem to forgot that the movie was based off a real life person. And that's who we're going to talk about today. Charles Chuck, the Bleeder Wepner. And he, rightfully so, will be the subject of today's video. And let's start with where he began. Chuck Wepner was born in 1939 on February 26 in the great state of New York City. He is of German and Ukrainian and Polish descent. Wepner learned to fight on the streets of New Jersey, saying this was a tough town with a lot of people from the docks and the naval base, and you had to fight to survive. Wepner was about a year old when he ended up moving in with his grandmother on the 28th Street near the Hudson Boulevard, now being called the Kennedy Boulevard. He was raised by his mother and grandparents, living in a room that was a converted coal shed until he was about 13. As a child, he was an avid player of sports in his youth, playing basketball for the Police Athletic League. And at the high school that he attended, his height helped him gain a spot on the basketball team. At the age of 15, Wepner decided that he was going to join the U.S. Marines, being inspired by the movie Battle Cry. Little did he know that this was going to be the start of the rest of his life, as this is when he became a member of a boxing team. He started developing a reputation for being able to withstand other boxers' punches, and eventually becoming a military champion at one of the air bases. A 1975 Sports Illustrated article said that Wepner had saved the lives of 3 Marine pilots, pulling them from the blazing airplanes. Wepner ended up turning professional in 1964 and became a popular boxer on the Northeast Boxing Club circuit. He began getting noticed by posting many wins and some losses all throughout his region, and a lot of them near his boyhood home. Eventually he earned the nickname the Bayonne Bleeder, due to the repeated facial injuries in the ring. He took the name that was initially meant as an insult and turned it into a big seller for him. In an interview, Wepner went on to say, "I was a big bleeder. I had 328 stitches in my career. My nose was broken 9 times in 16 years. And it never fazed me, you know?" Which would definitely be shown and highlighted throughout the Rocky movies also. For Rocky wasn't known for his defense. He had formerly boxed while being a member of the United States Marine Corps, and he had worked as a bouncer before turning pro. He was the New Jersey State Heavyweight Boxing Champion, but after losing bouts to George Foreman by a cut of the eye stoppage in round 3, and to Sonny Liston by a technical knockout in round 9, many boxing fans thought that his days as a contender were numbered. After his big fight with Liston, Wepner needed 72 stitches on his face. He would go on in his retirement to state that Liston was the hardest puncher he had ever fought. After his legendary clash with Muhammad Ali, he ended up doing quite a bit on the, I guess you could say, entertainment circuit. As for in 1976, Wepner fought the professional Andre the Giant, and lost by countout after Andre threw him out of the ring. This might sound kind of familiar, especially if you're a Rocky fan or a Rocky 3 fan, as Rocky ended up going against Hulk Hogan in the movie under the name of Thunder Lips, and that was based and ripped straight from Wepner's own life.
What the hell goes on inside your head? Anything normal functions?
Yeah, the few.
I don't think so, because to fight a creature like this, you gotta have about 100 pounds of brain damage. I seen wrestlers that was bigger than dinosaurs. You ever fight a dinosaur, kid?
No, not lately.
They can
no.
cause a variety of damage.
Oh,
The wrestling champion of the world is now entering the arena. I'm telling you
he is quite a sight, all decked out in red.
Why are they carrying him?
He's walking.
I'm coming after you, Balboa.
Let's call it off.
Oh, come on, it's for charity.
You're wearing your anatomy out for charity. Nobody else does this much for charity.
Bob Hope would.
That's true.
Rockies, you better call Bob Hope.
To all my love slaves out there, Thunder Lips is here. In the flesh, baby.
Oh my God.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
See Chuck, Big Chuck Wepner, the biggest active heavyweight boxer, the tallest we could find anywhere. Chuck Wepner, scheduled to take on the individual many people consider to be the most extraordinary athlete of this generation, standing some 7 feet 5 inches, weighing over 450 pounds, known as Andre the Giant. This match, one of the matches you'll be seeing to prove indeed which individual is the superior athlete, that of the professional boxer or the professional wrestler. There is Gorilla Monsoon, who will be working the corner of Andre the Giant, as you see Big Andre stepping up in the ring over the top rope. Andre the Giant, an unbelievable individual. You'll see him here tonight, and it's going to be really anxious to see what he can do against the Bayonne brawler, a man who's going to stick, jab, and really try to let him have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening here from Shea Stadium. Immediately following this match, you'll see the Muhammad Ali Antonio Inoki match on the big TV screen. This match, the first ever wrestler versus boxer. The duration, 10 rounds, 3 minutes per round. Introducing first from Bayonne, New Jersey, the United States and New Jersey heavyweight champion, 232 pounds. Here is Chuck Wepner. His opponent this evening, he is from Grenoble in the French Alps. He weighs 450 pounds. Here is the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. 10 rounds, 3 minutes per round. Referee is John Stanley. Your judges, Harry Lewis and Al Reed.
Well, sir, Chuck Wepner threw away the headgear. His trainers wanted to put a headgear on him, Antonio, and Wepner wouldn't have any of that at all. Now look at the difference in the size. Wepner is a big man by any stretch of the imagination, 232 pounds, I believe. But a midget compared to Andre the Giant. Andre's going to be have to be able to move in that ring against Chuck Wepner. You can feel the electricity here in Shea Stadium, awaiting this boxer versus wrestler confrontation, and here we go.
Miss. Ali knows exactly what he's doing, yelling back in the corner now to Al Braverman and Patty Flood in the corner of Wepner. Wepner tries to get a shot off to the heart of Ali, and it misses. Wepner being very awkward looking, but it's not all his fault. He is an awkward fighter. He'll admit that to you, but Ali makes a man look awkward. Chuck is trying to get through the head. Ali hanging on. There he goes, hitting him behind the head again. It looks like Tony Perez has warned Ali to stop it. I could read the lips of referee Tony Perez, and he said, definitely stop it, Ali. Stop hitting him behind the head. Wepner is not at all shaken by this emotionally. Wepner's a tough cookie, and don't you forget it. This kid came to fight. Ali clearly has much more fluid motion, much more ability. It's clear that he's getting through with the jab now. It's clear he won round number 2. It's clear he's ahead in round 3. We're midway through round 3. This is a heavyweight championship fight slated for 15 rounds. And the big question is, can Ali knock out this man? Many people say no. The exhaustion factor, as it was in round 8 in Kinshasa, Zaire, could be the same difference. At this point, although Wepner's been hit a lot, he looks just as fresh as can be. He is red around the face from those jabs of Ali. There's a good combination. Another 3-4 punches to the face of Wepner. But Wepner not visibly shaken as he continues to come in. This man does not back up. 4 punches landed that time. A 4-punch combination by Ali. Starts off his left hand by movement to the left. Goes underneath with the right, comes back to the head with the left, and he followed up with the right that time. Wepner is not getting through with these punches. Now Ali pulls him in. Every time Wepner comes close to the back of the ear or the back of the head, Ali bounces him off the back of the head. There's the bell ending round 3. Okay, we're going to have a replay coming up here. James, let you take a look at it along with everybody else around the world. Watch Ali. Here's the first one, the right hand. Now there's the left that lands right there. The right comes back, spins the head around. He felt that for sure. Now watch this. Another left, light left, but it does spin the head around, so a glancing blow. But that one, again, a light. 2 light shots there towards the end, and the last 2 punches did spin his head, but I think he was kind of rolling with the punches a little bit. Red, as we take a look now at Ali, he looks like he's just out there for the tea party that he thinks he came to.
It's hardly even breathing. You know, it's so calm. Everything is just unbelievable, that condition.
Well, one thing about it, Bob, one thing about Chuck, he still can take a punch. I have to give him credit for that. The man,
Red, again, you can
still at himself.
You can see that corner fine. It doesn't look like any marks on Wepner as we go to round 4. Ali dances across the ring, almost tiptoes across the ring, trying to make a joke out of this, but this is not psyching Chuck Wepner. Wepner is ready for this. He told me he's been a competitor for 25 years in football and basketball in the Marine Corps, but none of that means anything when you're taking straight jabs like those last 2 off the gloves of Muhammad Ali. The flicking left jab, the accumulation of punches that can be deadly when they're thrown by the champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. Ali again is doing what he did in Zaire. He's allowing this big 6'5", 225-pound giant to come in on him. But he covers himself so well that no damage is done to him at all. And now all of a sudden, Perez, the referee, warns Wepner about hitting Ali from behind. Ali may have a few people psyched around here, but he doesn't have Wepner psyched. Wepner hanging on with the left hand and getting out some kidney shots with the right. Ali standing flat-footed. Ali with that light left can make a man look awkward when he goes to throw that right hand. Ali's hand speed looks tremendous because of the fact that Wepner is slow with his hands. You can see him as Ali beat him with the left hand coming from Wepner. Ali beat him with a quick right hand. Left hand right in the face of Wepner. It stops him in his tracks. Sometimes it bounces his head, but visibly unshaken is Chuck Wepner. Wepner has tremendous confidence in himself, tremendous determination in his eyes. Ali hanging onto the head. This is his tactic. This is no mistake. This is not sloppy fighting. This is what Ali likes to do. He hangs on, and meanwhile he protects himself. There's no place a man can hit him unless he can come in with an uppercut. We're supposed to see what they were calling the Ali Whopper, the bolo punch that made so famous. Now Ali is complaining again to Perez. And again Ali, as soon as he complains, goes over and starts hitting Wepner behind the head. Tony Perez this time warns Ali. Ali yells back. Perez is not going for some of the guff that Ali would like him to take. Neither is Wepner. Ali is scoring with the left hand and beginning to build up points now. We're in round 4. That right hand looked better than it was. It was a glancing blow across the chin of Ali, but no serious ramifications of that shot. misses the right hand. Ali misses his own left. Ali likes to pull a big man's head down, put the strain on the neck, and lean on him. Ali not looking tired at all. He's in better physical shape than what some of the pre-fight publicity would lead you to believe. There's a good right hand that spun the head around. The bell sounds. Neither fighter, that was nothing dirty there at all, folks. That was, neither fighter heard the bell. Red, you got something to say there about that?
No, I'm all choked up.
You're all choked up, huh?
Yeah.
What's choking you up, Red?
Well, I mean, to watch this guy take punches like that, you know, from Muhammad is, you know, he can really take a good punch, you know, and he doesn't seem to be able to give back, you know, in truth, you know, a real, you know, look at it, misses.
Look at these shots here. There's Wepner's head getting bounced around. There's another shot there right in the ear. And the right hand from underneath the arm, you got to be really strong to get a punch off like that. There's the wild hand. Ali misses that punch, spun the head around. When you see that, there's some sort of concussion going around inside. As we look at Wepner's face, Red, I don't see it visibly marked, except for redness and puffiness a little bit.
Well, it's not too much. You can't tell too much from that, because going into the first round, he had the same look in his eyes, that puffiness, you know. I think he's sticking a glove right in.
Here we go, round 5. James Brown, Red Fox, and Bob Sheridan here at ringside. Heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, the challenger Chuck Wepner, Bayonne, New Jersey. Ali looking like he's stalking his man, only he's backing up, holding that left hand down and now throwing right hands. In the first round in Kinshasa, Ali threw 3 right hands and snapped the head back to George Foreman and surprised him. Ali fighting with one hand now. Wepner is not psyched by this stuff, not visibly psyched at all. He comes in, he's a tough kid. He's taking punishment, yes, from that left hand of Ali. Ali is building points up. Ali is beating him to the punch. But Wepner is tough. It's a big man, a strong fella. His best punch, by the way, is his right hand, but he hasn't got it off real good yet. Ali definitely his best punch is that left jab that just accumulates punches over a period of rounds. Amazing speed with the left hand. He can deliver it from where it is right now, the hip. He may have missed that right hand so quickly, snapped on the ear, the left ear of Chuck Wepner as Ali was backing up. Ali not taking the fight to Wepner. Wepner throwing those roundhouse punches and those haymakers, as they call them. This is a good place when you're out in this township out here right next to the farm. Ali now hitting Wepner at will, making him look awkward, making his punches look ever so much slower. Ali now dances. He hasn't danced since the very opening second of the first round. Ali will do this to psych not only his opponents, but referees and judges. The fans love it, of course, to see Ali move like this. Beautiful left jab. Left over the shoulder of Chucky Wepner. Looks like Wepner has a little bit of a bloody nose now, as I notice some red stuff trickling from the nostril. There's that left jab right in the face that got to Wepner. Wepner again looking awkward, slow. Ali, that quick twist to his body is what they call slipping punches. This makes him the masterful boxer that he is. Making Wepner look bad. Wepner throws booming punches, wild punches, but so far no real damage done. We're in round number 5. Neither fighter has been down. Wepner has never been down in his career. You can't say the same thing for Muhammad Ali. Ali giving Chuck Wepner a boxing lesson in round 5. Ali lunging almost with his left. He comes right off his feet. Wepner continues to come in. Ali in that traditional, famous Ali style of circling to his left, and now it's becoming equally famous, leaning on ropes as Wepner takes his best shots to the ribcage of Muhammad Ali. There's the bell ending round 5. That was probably the most action, James Brown, that we've seen in the whole fight.
Yeah, the cats had quite an exchange of punches there. And Ali's very sharp, but Chuck Wepner's still a very strong man. And anything can happen when a man has that much strength.
Well, that's the big thing. And Red Fox, you've been around boxing a long time, and now that you're really involved with your own man, Sanford, young Sanford there, you have to say that anything can happen when you get guys this size. Wepner, of course, doesn't look like he's getting his punches off.
No, he doesn't. And I think he's bleeding inside the mouth, too, and that makes it kind of bad.
Well, right now we can see what they're doing. They're kind of stuffing cotton up into the nose of Wepner. They want to get that to stop bleeding just as soon as they can. This is not serious at all. He may have a little cut inside the mouth. This happens to almost every fighter in every fight. These things, folks, don't mean a darn thing. It's not even a factor in the fight. The most serious thing that can happen is if a fighter gets cut above the eye, because then the flesh can hang down. They have put some goo above the eyes of Wepner, but no problem.
Believe it, I got a scar tissue to show it. I used to bleed a lot myself.
Do you bleed when you sing?
No.
Okay.
That's not chance of singing.
Here we go, round 6. The heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali working against Chuck Wepner, giving him a boxing lesson through round 5. We're in round 6. Wepner game continues to come on. To this point, nothing really exciting to this point. But you get the feeling that anytime Ali wants to turn it on, he can do so. Fact remains, and I'll continue to remind you, Chuck Wepner has never been off his feet. That's not a bad record. He has been cut many times, over 200 stitches on his face, but only 8 since that operation 2.5 years ago. Ali doing what he does best now. You know what he's doing, folks? He's resting. You can see that. You don't need me to tell you. He's leaning up against the ropes and covering up. People in the Richfield, Ohio Coliseum are booing Ali, but you can't boo a man for something like this because Ali is doing what he does best, cruises during some rounds. He'll put on a flurry before this round's over. Best punch of the fight thrown by Wepner in that particular time, but Ali had his gloves to catch most of the brunt of it. Ali's hands are so quick and he can counter so fast that it makes it very difficult for the big, slow, lumbering, awkward Chuck Wepner. And I don't say that criticizing the man because I admire his courage. Ali has only thrown 2 combinations in the fight, both of them with devastating series of punches. Ali just doing exactly what he did to George Foreman, allowing the big guy to come in, trying to make him punch himself out. I think it's obvious to you exactly what Ali's doing. Ali is catching his breath right now. That's Wepner working on Ali, leaning up against the ropes. Ali sitting on the ropes. Wepner continues to throw away the leather. Right hand again taken on the gloves of Ali. Wepner has not been able to hurt Ali in any manner at all. He's landed a couple of pretty good punches, trying to get through with an uppercut. Ali protects with the uppercut. He protects his midsection with his elbows, protects his head with his gloves in such a manner that the only place that Wepner could actually hit him is right behind the ear or in a rabbit punch type of thing. And it is frustrating to a guy like Wepner, and he does it. Then Ali complains to the official and hits him back. Ali is doing nothing but resting, and you're going to see, and I'd say about 4 or 5 seconds here, maybe 10 seconds, Ali break out with a flurry of punches because we're getting to the waning moments of round number 6, and this is when Ali usually picks up the pace a little bit. Ali is famous for the last 30 seconds of his round because that's when he wins a lot of rounds. To this point, Wepner has won the round, but now here we go with a flurry. Here's Ali with a closing flurry at the end of the round number 6, and you'd almost have to score that an even round because Ali did nothing.
Bob, it's really still an exciting fight. It's a funny thing about a family man when he got a big punch, it's hard to tell which way it's going. It's really hard.
Well,
even though by points, Ali, if he could keep it up, he would still win. But this man still have a big punch, and you can see he's holding it.
I think the important thing to point out here as we look at them working on the Al Braverman, furiously working on his fighter over there, is that Wepner is not cut. Ali on the other corner here, you see him, James, he's just enjoying himself. He doesn't even look like he's breathing hard. Now he's off his stool.
Yeah, I noticed Chuck Wepner has very little in the left hand. You know, the jab.
Very small hands as well. Very small hands, too.
Yeah, I saw his hand.
Well, here we go. Round 7. Ali is out in front. 2 rounds have been even the first round, and perhaps the 6th round were even rounds. Now Ali goes to work with the jab again in the face of Chuck Wepner. Ali flicking out that left hand as he's so famous for. people question whether this fight would go to the 7th round, as we're in now. But a lot of people had enough doubt to wonder, because guys like Dick Young, Milt Richmond, Will Grimsley, Dave Condon, Red Smith, Dave Anderson, Vic Siegel, Reggie Gutteridge is over here from England. They're all here because you never know. Who would have dreamed what would have happened by Kenny Norton to Muhammad Ali? A lot of people didn't dream Ali could beat George Foreman after what he did to Kenny Norton. Ali is coasting now. He knows he can hit his man at will, and he does. 2 quick left hands in the face of Wepner. Watch the right hand. Ali will set up. He jab with the left, and then he'll get off a 3 or 4 punch combination. He hasn't thrown a combination since back in about the 4th round. About this time, Ali likes to establish that he's in charge of the fight. Notice Ali with very little footwork, but tremendous slipping of the punches. He leaned back and dropped the right hand over the left hand of Wepner. Ali hanging on, pulls Wepner in, tries to make that 18.5-inch neck of Wepner tired, so when his punches bounce off the head will snap. It's Ali's tactics. It's a brilliant boxer. This man was born to fight. Wepner is a street brawler. Tough kid. A lot of courage. And he continues to stalk Ali as Ali begins to bounce, continually circling to his left. Continually circling to his left. This is what Ali did in the old days. Every once in a while, he'd take that quick shuffle step back to the right and drop a right hand over the left shoulder. Watch him now. Again, Ali working on the neck. Referee Tony Perez has to beat Johnny on the spot with this man. Ali goes to the right hand again. Feints left, throws the right hand. Misses with the left jab. Wepner wild with the right hand. Ali misses 2 light lefts. That's something you wouldn't see in the old days. Now it looks like Wepner may possibly have a cut above the eye. I think I see some red stuff. It might possibly be hair. No, to the side, but Wepner stays on his feet. Now Wepner hangs on. The first time that I've actually seen Wepner go to hang with Ali. We're in the 10th round. Ali scoring with both hands to the face of Chuck Wepner. Good right hand, good combination of punches. Wepner is very, very tired now. He's a tired human being, but he continues to come on to Ali. Does not have the bounce in his legs. His knees are gone, but Ali is scoring with the good lefts and rights. You can see that the knees are gone on Wepner right now. Wepner is game, but Ali is vicious with that left hand. And if he can drop that right like he just did that time, it's going to be a real tough thing for Wepner to do anything here. The story in the fight to this point, a surprise knockdown. Ali went down, hit the canvas, both feet up in the 9th, but Ali has picked up the pace here in the 10th. Now we notice that left eye of Wepner is really turning into a serious mouse, as they call it. It's closing right up. A lot of people around the world didn't expect this fight to go beyond 4, 5, or 6. Nobody expected Ali to hit the canvas in this fight. Everybody expected Wepner to get cut, and he is cut. So you never know in a championship fight. Ali is in complete command. He just slipped that time. It's a new canvas. They have got fairly heavy rosin on it, but Ali slipped just a little bit. Waning seconds now of round 10, and there is the bell ending round 10. Well, all right. Let's see what corner we're going to go to here. And go ahead, James. I'll let you talk about Muhammad Ali, whose cornermen are not pleased with what he's done to this point.
Well, Ali, I think, is very serious at this point. I believe that the fight can't last much longer if it's Ali has anything to do with it, because right at this point, Ali is a very serious man. It has become all business now.
Now we'll switch over, James, excuse me, we'll switch over now to red and see what you can see on Chuck Wepner here.
Well, he's standing in front there right now. It's still that eye that's giving him trouble. And I think Muhammad has taken a little bit more serious stand as he's really trying to get it over with.
Well, Ali is definitely serious. There's no question about it. Wepner is puffy, but the cut they seem to have under pretty good control, Red, from what I can see. There's the 10-second warning buzzer. We're going to round 11.
Like the old word said, Bob, he's serious. Ali is serious as cancer, and more direct as a heart attack is right at this point.
You are exactly right there. James Brown, Red Fox, and Bob Sheridan here at ringside. In the ring, Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner. Ali down in the 9th round, but still clearly in command of this fight to this point. Ali is not tired. Wepner is tired. Ali has scored many more punches. A surprise knockdown in the 9th round so far has been the story. Ali hit the canvas. Ali has so much pride that something like this he doesn't like, and I'm surprised that he hasn't picked up the pace more. Because again, he's been warned by Angelo Dundee, his manager, his trainer over there in the corner, by Herbert Mohammed, his actual manager, not to fool around. Ali did toy, he did fool in the early rounds, did throw combinations. And now we see a cut has just opened up in the corner of the right eye, so that means Wepner has cuts in both eyes now. Left eye is really puffy and closing up over and under as Ali puts that left hand right on the button, right on that left eye again. Ali, of course, in the white trunks. That's Wepner in the red, white, and blue. Facing you now, trying desperately. You can see the courage of this guy. He wants Ali so bad he can taste him, but he just doesn't have the ability to do with his hands what Ali does have the God-given ability to do with his own. Great uppercut by Ali. First one in the fight. We're supposed to see some of those uppercuts, but that's the first one we saw. Left hook to the side of the head of Wepner. Another left hook which opens up that cut a little bit more to the right side. Short right hand glancing up the cheek of Wepner. Wepner tries to fight back, trying to get his left hand through, but he can't. Ali hangs on to the neck, fighting the fight that he wants to fight. Wepner has blood around both eyes, blood on his forehead. That's just from the cuts in the eye. Ali working on the eyes now, flicking just stiff left jabs to the face of Chuck Wepner. You see the determination that we didn't see earlier in the eye of Ali. Ali is dead serious now. He's not fooling around. Ali suddenly realized that he might have a little bit of a fight on his hand. Wepner, although he's splattering blood around the ring here, is still coming back because I noticed that his knees look to be a little bit stronger than they were in the last round. Ali drops the right on him again, though. Wepner continues to come on, though. Wepner hangs on, tries to work to that rib cage of Muhammad Ali. It was a right hand that dropped Ali. There's a real crisp right hand and a left. Here's a combination of punches now, ending the round. That bell ends round 11. Ali again had command of that round the entire way. Watch this final combination as we see it coming up here, James. Ali loves to do this towards the tail end of the round because if it's a close round, he thinks he can win the round by doing this. Go ahead.
I noticed that he right at the tail end of the round, he really poured it on.
It is a good right hand there to the side of Wepner's cheek. Wepner desperately tries to get back, does kind of get one behind the ear, but there's a shot up underneath the rib cage of Wepner and a good left hand there that spun the head around. All these punches keep Wepner off balance.
Bob, like I said, Ali is really serious as cancer at this point, but it's something else that kind of bothers me. The fact that Wepner just won't go down.
Wepner has never been down in his career. Ali's been down in this fight. He was down, the most famous knockdown against Joe Frazier in 1971. It's strange to point out we're in the month of March that Muhammad Ali lost two fights both in the month of March to Joe Frazier in 71 and Ken Norton in 73. I don't want to mislead you. He's not behind in this fight, and he's dead serious now in round 12. Scheduled for 15, the heavyweight championship of the world at stake. Muhammad Ali is out in front of the fight clearly, but he has been knocked down. People who make it their business to make odds would never have picked 12 or 13 rounds or even 11 or 12 rounds. We're in the 12th round, the early moments. Ali in command with his punches. Wepner very tough, hanging in there, cut over both eyes. Bad cut over the left eye, a slight gash by the right eye.
Come on, step back.
just found out that there is blood coming from the eye because it's splattered on his suit. They have the press dressed in red outfits around here to, I don't know, keeping those cuts closed. The guy has got tremendous. I mean, this is not this is just not a normal man. The guy is a brute.
I can't believe
Watch this replay now of Ali going to Wepner. There's that left that flicks in the eye. There's the right hand behind the ear. That's a damaging blow. It can be very telling. We're back live now. Ali off his stool. Angelo Dundee and Drew Bundini Brown and Gene Kilroy yelling instructions to him. Well, here we go. Round 13, and nobody believed it would be this much of a fight. Ali toyed in the early, let's say the first 5 or 6 rounds. He landed a few combinations. Perez warns both of them. Wepner continued to come on. Wepner continues to try and come back as the blood squirts around us here at ringside. Fred, you'll be all right. That won't hurt you. Muhammad Ali can hit Wepner anytime he wants, any place he wants. Wepner cannot return the favor as much as he wants to. Tony Perez separates the two fighters. Ali bouncing around on the white trunks to the left of his screen. Wepner, red, white, and blue, flicks out the left that just doesn't hit the target. He tickets more punches to the head of Ali that don't land, but Ali just doesn't miss too often with his. There's the left again, right on that eye. Ali is just working the eye at Chuck Wepner. Wepner courageous, continues to come on. Looks awkward. Ali ties him up. Ali, captain of the ship. Very well put by James Brown. Uppercut that staggered him around to his right that time and sent him up against the ropes, but Ali didn't follow up. Not like the Ali of old. Ali is continuing to hang on, continuing to conserve energy. I remember a fight a few years ago when Oscar Bonavena fought Ali, a very similar fight, and then dropped him in the 15th round. Oscar Bonavena fought the same courageous type of fight but couldn't deliver. Good left uppercut to the head, that time right in the face of Wepner. Again, the left uppercut. It's coming a feint that time that stopped Wepner in his tracks. It's not the punch, the feint. Ali has all the movements. Wepner is sloppy looking, tired, awkward. Ali scoring with the left. Ali drops the right hand on him now. Again, the left, the right hand combination. Wepner just continues to come in, backs Ali up against the rope. We're in round 13. Now Wepner complains about Ali hitting him behind the head. Haven't seen anything dirty at all as far as I'm concerned. Going from Wepner. Ali now picks up the pace. There's a couple of uppercuts, and here's the famous combinations of Ali. This last few seconds flurry, which he's famous for at the end of every round, in the winning moments of round 13. There's the bell ending round 13, and as I told you early in the fight, Ali will continue to do this. That clearly makes him the winner of that round because he picks up the pace and really drops the combinations that convince everybody that he's in complete command, which he is.
Well, I'm expecting a turnaround this time. I think at the beginning of this next round, I believe Ali's going to go for broke from the beginning of the round. He played it very well, very safe, and very scientific.
Watch this now. Wepner kind of staggers. This is what Ali is famous for. Wepner is just sloppy. He's staggering all over the place as Ali continues to put punches on him. Watch that. There's the uppercut, the right hand, and the left right back. Ali's hand speed is outstanding. You can see it there so clearly.
Ali remind me of the days of Joe Louis.
Here we are now over Chuck Wepner's corner, and Red Fox has been looking in there and can tell you that they've got those eyes very much under control for the size of the gash. Angelo Dundee and Drew Brown working on Ali. There's the bell.
Bob, did you ever watch Ezra Charles in his heyday?
Yes, I did.
Ali got that same kind of razor.
Oh, there's a combination. You're right. Ali has picked up the pace here in round 14. reminder, Ali has been down. Wepner has not been down. Ali in a surprise punch was flattened in the 9th round. But now Ali is definitely picking up the pace. Here he goes. He wants to end it. The knees are gone on Wepner. He's in definite trouble as Ali continues to drop those punches and that closing, ever so closing left eye of Chuck Wepner. Ali bounces the left hand off the face of Chuck Wepner. Wepner stands flat-footed as Ali takes his shot at will. He can drop it anytime he wants. Watch out for the right-hand combination. Ali starts with a slip to the left. He'll drop the left hand under the rib cage and the right hand over the left shoulder of Chuck Wepner. You might see it in this round. He may drop it on that left eye of Wepner. Here they are right above our video techniques point here in the Coliseum, Richfield, Ohio. Ali clearly ahead in the fight. We're in round 14. Muhammad Ali, Chuck Wepner, nobody but nobody said that this fight would go 15 rounds. It hasn't gone 15, we're in 14, and nobody believed it would be there either. Nobody believed Ali would go down. Ali has been down. Wepner has never been down in this fight or in his career. However, Wepner is struggling. Ali is using his wrestling tactics. Cut over the left eye is very puffy, a big gash. Not a lot of blood coming out, much to the credit of Al Braverman, Patty Flood, people in the corner of very courageous Chuck Wepner. Tough kid. Tries to deliver a blow back to the heart of Ali, but that time it didn't do the damage. Ali continues circling left, looking for his opportunity to drop that right hand in there. He'll do it off the left hook when he does it. Ali trying to keep him at punching distance now, which tells me that Ali wants to finish this thing right now. Wepner comes back with a punch of his own, but Ali crosses with a right of his own and snaps the head again of Wepner. Ali definitely wants to finish it here. They're telling him in his corner go after him. Again, Wepner has not been down in the fight. He's staggering around the ring. Ali trying to put the finishing touches to Chuck Wepner, but Wepner continues to come on. Muhammad Ali has been able to hit Chuck Wepner at will throughout the fight. He picked up the pace, and now Ali is resting up against the ropes again. It's beginning to look like this fight is going to go through 15 rounds. We're in the waning seconds now of round number 14, and Ali popped Wepner with a vicious left. Everybody is yelling, leave him alone. They're trying to get Muhammad Ali. No, that's all right. That's all right. Okay. All right. On him.
The winner by a technical knockout in 2 minutes 41 seconds of the 15th round.
2:41 of the 15th
world
round. Heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali. The people in attendance love it.
Wait a minute.
Ain't gonna be no rematch.
Don't want one.
In the 9th round, Wepner scored a knockdown, which Ali said it occurred by Wepner stepping on his foot. When being questioned about this, Wepner went to his corner and told his manager, Al Braverman, "Al, start the car. We're going to the bank. We're millionaires." And then Wepner's manager replied, "You better turn around. He's getting up and he looks pissed." In those remaining rounds, Ali decisively outboxed Wepner and opened up cuts above both of Wepner's eyes while breaking his nose. Wepner was far behind the scorecards when Ali knocked him down with 19 seconds left in the 15th round. The referee counted to 7 before calling it an official TKO. After the Ali and Wepner bout, Sylvester Stallone wrote the script for Rocky, which was later released in 1976. For years after Rocky was released, Stallone denied that Wepner provided inspiration for the movie, though he eventually admitted it. After his retirement from boxing, Wepner began abusing drugs. In 1979, Sylvester Stallone wanted to cast Wepner as a sparring partner in the Rocky II film, but he ended up failing the audition due to his drug problems. And problems pursued to follow him, as in 1985, Wepner was arrested on drug charges, where he was found with 4 ounces of cocaine in an undercover police investigation. Under a plea bargain agreement, he was sentenced in 1988 to 10 years in prison, for which he served 17 months in the Northern State Prison, Newark, New Jersey. Then spent another 20 months in the New Jersey's Intensive Supervised Program. In 2003, Wepner sued Sylvester, seeking payments for his use as the inspiration of the Rocky film and the film series, with the lawsuit being settled with Stallone in 2006 for an undisclosed amount. As of 2010, Wepner had been working for 10 years with his third wife Linda in the liquor sales field for Majestic Wines and Spirits. He was also an expert in consuming liquors, wines, and spirits. A film would later be released following Wepner's career in 2012 and aired on ESPN, titled The Real Rocky, on October 5, 2011. And it features clips of Wepner's 9th round knockdown of Muhammad Ali in their 1975 World Heavyweight bout. Since his fight with Ali, Wepner had bred the circuits of interviews and talking and sharing as much insight and knowledge as he can, all the way up until today.
Township of Washington.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of WCTV's Town Talk. Tonight we have a very, very special guest who's come to WCTV. This happens rarely for us here, and we're so excited to have former heavyweight boxer Chuck Wepner sitting right across the table from me. His lawyer, Ken Pollard, who's a Washington Township lawyer, and my partner, John Francola. For 20 years, we've covered sports. And tonight we're going to talk to Chuck about boxing and what he's doing now, and just go back and have a complete, quick review of his life. And Chuck, before we go on any further, for WCTV, John, the entire gang here, all the volunteers at WCTV, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come here and talk to us.
No problem. It's an honor, and Ken told me that if I didn't show up, he was going to rebuild me for the work he did.
And Ken, I want to again thank you, because I think it was maybe a year ago or 10 months ago in a council meeting, you called me over and said, you know, I know Chuck Wepner, and I said, yeah, okay, fine. So would you like to have him on the show? And I said, yes. And you said, well, I'll get him for you. And tonight, the gentleman is here in the flesh.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And John, we've done a lot of interviews over the years, football players, basketball players, baseball players, but never a boxer, professional boxer. Be good now, John.
This individual, he was a hero. From when I watched that 1975, you know, Cliffside Park then, I had a family and all, watching you box, and I was rooting like crazy, and I felt you were going to beat Ali in that fight. Then I don't know what happened right at the end, but you'll be telling us about that as we get into this.
You're from Cliffside Park. You must have been a Randy Newman fan.
Absolutely.
I fought Randy 3 times. Yes, Randy's a very dear friend of mine, and he's a hell of a fighter. We had 3 real good fights, and I've been to a couple of dinners with Randy, and he's a real gentleman and a credit to the sport.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's start from the beginning. How did you get into boxing?
Well, I actually boxed with the PAL when I was a little guy. You know, we used to have smokers. I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I lived on 28th Street, and the PAL was on 23rd. So I used to go down to the PAL, and they'd put the big gloves on us, and we'd punch it out. Nobody would get hurt, and there were no wins, but there were draws. I had 6 fights as a kid, and then I more or less started playing a lot of basketball. And I started boxing again when I joined the Marine Corps. I was 17 years old, and I wound up winning the MABS, which was the Military Air Base Championship down in Cherry Point, North Carolina.
And then when you came out of the Marine Corps, when did you turn professional?
Well, actually, I came out of the Corps in 1959, and I bounced around for a little bit. I was a bouncer in a couple of clubs. And a guy named Joe Barisi came to Bayonne PAL one day. I was working at a go-go joint, the one and only go-go joint in Bayonne. And he said to me, I understand that, you know, you're a pretty tough guy in the street. You go with your hands. You know, why don't you come down and try out for the PAL boxing team? We're entering a team in the New York Golden Gloves in New York City. And I said, I'll have to think about it. You know, I don't know if I want to want to train. Anyway, I went down there, I trained, and I wound up winning the heavyweight, the New York and National Heavyweight Championship in 1964. To this day, I'm still the only man from the state of New Jersey to ever win the New York and Nationals.
And then you professional. Who's your first fight?
A guy named Lightning George Cooper.
And how long did Lightning George last with the Bayonne?
He wasn't that fast, actually. I chased him around a little bit. I knocked him out in the third round. He only had 4 fights himself. He was 2-2. And, you know, that's the trick when you're starting your career, to get you involved in the game against guys that, you know, that maybe you have a good chance of beating. You know, they don't want to throw you in with a top-ranked guy right off the bat. As it was, I fought Sonny Liston in my 12th pro fight, and I won a bluesing as my first loss.
And how Sonny Liston, was he the toughest man you fought?
He was the hardest hitter I ever fought.
Really?
Yeah. I'd say the best all-around fighter was probably Ali, but the hardest hitter, I went 10 rounds with Liston, and he broke my nose, my left cheekbone, and gave me 72 stitches. So he busted me up pretty good. As a matter of fact, in the 9th round, the referee, Barney Felix, came in and said, Chuck, we're going to stop the fight at the end of the 9th round. He's because you're all busted up. And I said, come on, Barney, I'm all right. You know, I can go another round. And he said, well, how many fingers do I have up? And my manager had his hand on my shoulder. He tapped me 3 times. I couldn't see his hand. And I said 3. And he said, oh, you can see. Come on out. And I went out, and about a minute and 2 seconds into the 10th round, I threw a left hook and hit the referee, Barney Felix. I hit him in the side of the neck and the shoulder, and Jersey Joe Walcott was the commissioner. He jumped up and waved off the fight because he realized then that I couldn't see. I couldn't see really from about maybe the end of the 7th round on. You know, both my eyes were pretty well banged up.
Is that because the eyes, was that something that was heredity, or did it happen because of too many fights that you would bleed like that?
No, that happened because I didn't learn to duck good enough. You know, I used to block a lot of punches in them days. Unfortunately, it was with my face. My manager used to say to me, geez, come on, Chuck, just show me you can slip 1 punch. And I'd go out and I'd slip the first one, they'd miss me, and then he'd hit me with 20 or 30 more. You know, and I'd say to Al, see, I slipped 1. I don't want to get you too happy.
My father was, rest his soul, was a great boxing fan. He loved baseball and boxing. Those was his 2 loves, and I don't think baseball was first. I always thought boxing was first, and he always talked to me about boxing. How difficult it is to train for a fight? What's the physical rigors on you psychologically and physically?
Well, for me, it was a little different. I was never subsidized. So some guys do nothing but train. So they can get up in the morning, do their road work, train all day. I used to wake up in the morning like 6:30. I'd throw some clothes on, go down to parks, do my 3.5 miles, come back, shower, go to work all day. And then at night, I'd go to the gym and train. And by the time I got home, it was 9 or 9:30. And it was tough to really get in tip-top shape. Plus, I never had a full-time trainer because of the way I trained. You know, when I trained at night, a lot of the trainers were there during the day, and the only guy I had really training me most of the time was the guy who ran the gym, you know, whoever was around. And but for the title fight, my manager, Al Braverman, hooked me up with Don King as the promoter. Don had just gotten out of prison and had become Muhammad Ali's promoter. And him and Al know each other from Las Vegas like 20 years before. And he paid me to go away to camp. I trained 7 weeks. I got myself into great shape, and the rest is history. I fought a very good fight.
And you also sparred with Joe Frazier, Ali Frazier, the great fights. How was Joe Frazier as a boxer?
Joe was tough. I was up in Grossinger's with Joe on 2 different occasions, but the one occasion I was there for almost 2.5 weeks, and we sparred over 70 rounds together, and Joe had a great left hook. Great left hook. As a matter of fact, the first time I boxed with him up in the gym, I came out and I was throwing a lot of jabs, but I was keeping my right hand tucked in. I wasn't throwing the right. I come back at the end of the first round, and Al said to me, Chuck, throw that right hand. You got a big right hand. Throw it. I said, I don't know about throwing the right hand with Frazier, because Frazier had this double left hook. He was the body and the head. So I'll just throw it. Don't worry about nothing. I went back for the second round. I threw bing right in the kidney, right in the face about 3 times. I got back at the end of the second round. I had a bloody nose. Al says, keep that right hand tucked in. You don't bother throwing the right hand. And I thanks now you tell me. After I was out there getting battered for a round. But I went 3 rounds every day with him. And Joe, it wound up, we went almost 70 rounds together in the 3 weeks. And Joe and I became very good friends. He was a great, great fighter, Joe Frazier.
Yeah, but Joe Frazier, I know, looking at some of the fights, he was always going straight forward. He never knew how to back up. So between you and him,
that
was
was it. There was like two
bulls.
2 Mack trucks running into each other. I only had one direction, unfortunately, and that was forward. And so I took a lot more punishment than I should have. I probably could have learned to be a pretty good boxer if I listened to people. But like I said, I never had a full-time trainer. At night, when I went there at like 6:30 or 7 at night until like 9 o'clock, most of the trainers were gone. They were home in bed already because they were old-timers. And the only guy around really was the guy who ran the gym or some of the leftovers or guys who weren't great trainers.
Now we get to the fight with Ali. And who did you fight before Ali? You remember the fight?
Yeah, a guy named Terry Hinkey. Don King had gotten, like I say, gotten out of prison, and he became Muhammad Ali's promoter. And Ali was going to fight George Foreman. His first fight out of the 4-year layoff. They took 4 years off him because of his, because of his beliefs. He would have been the most loved fighter of all time if he hadn't did that, refused induction into the service, and they got him in a lot of trouble. Anyway, Don King said to me, you're ranked 7th in the world. We want you to fight for the title. You're going to fight George Foreman because Foreman's fighting Muhammad Ali. And even though I'm Ali's promoter, I don't think Ali can beat Foreman. So he also had George Foreman beside Ali. Don King had them all wrapped up. And I thought I was going to be fighting George Foreman. And I went out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and I fought a guy named Terry Hinkey, who was, I think, 32-4, and I knocked him out in the 11th round. I was the North American champion then, heavyweight champion. Knocked him out in the 11th round. I had him down 7 times, and Bob Hope was the MC that night. It was a benefit for Biafra, if you guys remember
Biafra,
that.
sure, yeah.
$2 from every ticket went to the Biafra Fund.
Right.
And they had about 14,000 people in the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it turned out to be a great fight. As a matter of fact, Don King said in a news article after that was one of the greatest heavyweight fights he ever saw. And Bob Hope came in my dressing room, and I was laying on the table being stitched up. My usual 20 or 30 stitches. I used to get that on a Friday night going out with the guys. But anyway, he grabbed my hand like this, and he said, "Chuck, it's Bob Hope, and I was, hey, Mr. Hope, how are you? Chuck, I just want you to know one of the greatest heavyweight fights I ever saw. This guy, Hinkey, could punch. And I had him down 7 times. He kept getting up. Finally, the 7th time, he didn't get up. And I got my shot at the title. 2.5 weeks later, Ali fights Foreman in Zaire, and everybody figures Foreman's going to walk right through him because Foreman was invincible, right? Ali knocks out George Foreman, and he becomes the heavyweight champion of the world.
Were you surprised at that fight?
To be honest with you, yeah. I thought George Foreman was just too big and too strong for Ali, especially since Ali had just had 4 years off, and he was, he really wasn't in the best condition, fight-wise. But anyway, the fight went through, and he promised me a shot at the title. And 3 months and a day later, I was sitting at home watching Kojak, and my mother called. I love Telly, so a dear friend of mine, by the way, when he was alive. And the phone rings. I said, "Oh, Jesus, 10 minutes into Kojak." I usually don't even answer the phone. But it was the voicemail. It was my mother. "Jack, pick up the phone. Jack, pick up the phone." Pick up the Mom, what? I mean, I love my mother. My mother raised us. I didn't meet my father until I fought for the Golden Gloves. The first time I ever met him, I was 25. Anyway, make a long story short, she says to me, "Did you get the news tonight? Did you see the news?" I said, "No, Mom, what is it?" I said, "I'm watching Kojak. I tell you, never bother me during Kojak." He used to be on at 11 o'clock and 11:30. Anyway, she says, "The whole back page of the news, somebody called me. Ali to defend against Wepner." It wound up that Ali was out in Cleveland with Don King, and Don King had talked to him about the fight, and Ali agreed to it, and they broke it on UPAP, and it hit all the papers, and I wound up getting a shot at the title, and I wound up, being, more well known. I went 15 rounds, and I got to meet Ken Poller. That's the only way.
That's a big part of the fight.
Oh, well, listen, you walk into his office, if you ain't somebody, you're nobody. He said to me, by the way, I know the mayor personally.
Of Washington Township?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the first thing he said to me. I said, well, gee, that's big.
So you fought, that fight was fought in England? You fought that fight with Ali? Was it in England?
No, that was in Richfield, Ohio.
Cleveland,
Richfield, Ohio. And I trained up in the Granite Hotel up in the Jewish Alps, they called it in them days, and the Granite Hotel. And it was great because that was the first time I ever trained full time. And, I was like the man up there, when I got there, they had signs all over, the Granite Hotel welcomes heavyweight contender Chuck Wepner, good luck, Chuck. And, I had my sparring partners up there with me. I did my road work in the morning. I trained in the afternoon. I ate when I wanted to. I ate what I wanted to. And it was probably the greatest 7 weeks of my life, except for those 2 days when I married my wife.
That's important
Linda.
to say that. You know that. And she's here.
She's here too.
And she's here.
She's here.
I tell you, honey, we practiced that about for an hour before I came to you. Did I do good, honey?
I think you did a great job with that.
We'll just touch on this fight, then we'll move on a little bit what's going on today. You dropped Ali in the second round.
No, I dropped him in the ninth round.
Ninth round, you hit him with what, a left hook?
I hit him with a right hand under the heart. It wasn't a great punch. He was pulling away from a jab, and he was off balance. I caught him right under the heart. And as a matter of fact, I went back to the corner, and I said to my manager, Al Braidman, Al, start the car. We're going to the bank. We're millionaires. And Al says, if I were you, I would turn around because he's getting up and he looks pissed off. I thought, uh-oh. But I always had a lot of confidence, and I never went into a fight. I didn't care who it was. I honestly thought that maybe Ali would look past me a little bit, and I would, I'd have a shot at knocking him out in the late rounds.
Wow.
I even bought my wife a powder blue negligee.
Oh, really?
The night before the title fight, and I gave it to her, and I said, honey, tonight I want you to wear this negligee to bed because tonight you're going to be sleeping with the heavyweight champion of the world.
You see, Chuck, there's your
wife's on. We got your wife on TV.
Yeah.
In the meantime, anyway, after the fight, I came back to the hotel. I walked in the bedroom. She's sitting on the bed in the negligee. She says to me, am I going to Ali's room or is he coming to mine? That was very funny.
Do you keep in touch with Ali after the fight?
I did up until a couple of years ago. We were out to Bering Springs to see him, and it's so terrible the way he looks and the condition that he's in, and it's heartbreaking, really.
So you finished boxing, and now you're doing something completely different with your life.
Well, not really. When I was boxing, I worked for a company, Allied Liquors, which was Majestic Liquors then. I've been selling liquor now for over 38 years, and it's a very good living. That's another thing. I never gave up my job. Like I said, I was never subsidized, so I couldn't afford to give up my job because I had, family and bills and everything else. So I always worked and trained. I was like just a part-time fighter, except for the one time when I fought Ali. And like I said, I was lucky that night because a guy named Sylvester Stallone saw the fight. He was in Philadelphia down his last $40, and he went to a closed circuit showing of the fight, and he got the inspiration, went home and knocked out the script in 3.5 days. And 30 years went by, and things worked out good for me. The publicity was great, and after 30 years, my wife and a friend talked me into more or less suing Stallone. Going after him because he made me a lot of promises and nothing ever came of it. And I wound up getting a lawyer named Tony Mango and, of course, Ken Poller and the great litigator. And I said to Tony, he's Ken Poller. What does he do? He's one of the greatest litigators you ever saw. He's also a great bullshit artist. I said, oh, well, I guess that goes hand in hand when you're a lawyer, right? He said, yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, make a long story short, I got to meet Ken, and they did a great job. Ken and Tony went out there and they just tore up Stallone at the out there in California, and they made a fool of him, and they more or less set him where Stallone walked in and thought he was on the offense. By the time he left, he was on the defense, you know, and a few months later, the lawyer said, you know, let's get together and resolve this thing, and it worked out good for me because it went along with the movie that they're doing about me for Tolan Robbins and Miramax and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and
who's playing Chuck Wepner now?
Well,
Chuck Wepner?
They've got a couple of guys in mind, and I'm not right now at liberty to say who, but they're legitimate big-time actors, and you have to realize that the guy that they're getting has to be Chuck Wepner when he was 36 years old when I fought for the title.
Right.
By the way, I was the second oldest man ever to fight for the title. At that time, Jersey Joe Walker was 39. So I got my shot late, but like I say, I went away to camp, and I did pretty good, and it's 30 years later, I'm on this show big time.
Here you are.
I wouldn't have been here.
You're sitting with us. You really.
This is probably the longest anybody's talked with the mail and a microphone. I haven't been able to say anything.
He will be ready.
But you know, I know he'll be ready.
He's sitting there. He's thinking. He's thinking.
He come over and he brought an article. I mean, you know what? I consider that an honor.
Mr. Mayor, would you have anything you'd like to say to Chuck Wepner?
Well, as I mentioned when I first came here, I've known about him since about 1973 because of a fellow that was now not Bayonne anymore.
Right, he moved out.
But he and I worked together at a defunct company called American Can Company, and he was a great baseball player at Seton Hall. And he said, "You ever hear about this guy, Chuck Wepner?" He said, he says, "He's the Bayonne bleeder." And I said, "Well, you know, who's he? He's a fighter. You know, you hear a lot about him. This is, I think, before the big fight, if I remember correctly."
73, I fought him in 75. Yep,
75. So I watched it, and when the day came for the heavyweight championship, Frank and I used to talk, because several times a month we drive together in carpooling. Remember the first energy crisis when gas went from 39 cents a gallon to 65 cents a gallon? Those days are long gone, but that was an energy crisis, and you could only go 55 miles an hour, if I remember. But I heard a lot about him, and I followed it along the way. In fact, I think about 3 weeks ago, the papers had another article about Chuck where they brought up his career, what he's doing now, and the fact that he's still in good shape. And on a Friday night, he probably could still hold court in Bayonne or any town in New Jersey and still give a very, very good account of himself. And I think I detected in part of that article, because since I do a little bit of weightlifting myself, that he still can bench press 280 pounds. Is that the correct quote, or not? I don't know.
No more. I used to be able to do 305 to it. Now I don't touch more than 175, 180.
Oh, 180. Okay. All right. So I misread it. But it is a great honor that you have come to Washington Township up here. And that you also have one of the probably great lawyers in the state of New Jersey who we started as adversaries, but we didn't fight in the ring. We used to joust with words back about 30 years ago. But he has done a good job, and he's represented you well. And I think you've got what you really should have gotten out of everything. And I know no details other than to say what a great account you gave, and what a great way of holding up the state of New Jersey and its amateur athletes over the years that have gotten a shot here and there. So, Chuck, one thing I am going to tell you a little bit about is back in my United States Marine Corps football career, when I was 23 or 24, you were about the same age, we used to go out to practice in September, and this is at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, not that far from Cherry Point. And there was a guy on a Marine Corps boxing team, because in those days, each base had a boxing team, which I presume that was what you were on when you were at the air station. And there was another guy that fought for the heavyweight championship working out there. He was light heavyweight in Marine Corps, Ken Norton.
Yeah, hell of a fight. Became heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, and he was there, and we used to come off the field and watch him, and you could see his potential even in those days. And it's too bad the military doesn't continue the base competition that they used to have in the heyday, where you learned your skills, Norton learned his skills, and a lot of amateur baseball and football players had an opportunity to get to the pros. So other than that, what do you plan on doing over the next 10 years? You got any good plans in mind?
Well, if things go the way I hope and the movie comes out and we do well, I'd like to maybe retire someday. You know, I actually like my job. Been doing it 38 years. My wife would have us retire tomorrow. My wife likes to buy things and likes to travel and
You got to work.
Yeah, like, you know. Well, my wife works for me now. She's a salesman also. She's a very good one, by the way, too. But I think eventually I'd like to maybe get out of the business and just retire and just go around, do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I guess that's everybody's dream.
Now, Ken, we're sitting here very quietly. We know what kind of a lawyer you are. You're a great lawyer. You represent the town. You represent the Chuck. The mayor talks how great you are. Are you involved in sport in any way? You like sports and you like?
Yeah, sure. I grew up in Paramus, participated in sports, played a little baseball there, and then in college, nothing, on the leagues, but all the intramural sports, things like that. Now, golf. I play a lot of golf now. That's my sport that I like the best. But I watch baseball and football, boxing I love. And
you like boxing?
Sure, yeah.
My father and my brother sitting over here was a big boxing fan. And we'd say to him, now he was born 1910, so he was in the heyday of boxing, 1930s, when boxing reigned supreme.
40s, they were the greatest, yeah, they're awesome.
And he saw Ali fought. He saw Ali. He saw Marciano fight. He saw the great ones fight. My uncle was a boxing inspector for New York State. And I asked my dad one time, I said, Dad, who was the greatest fighter you ever saw? Who's the greatest fighter Chuck Wepner ever saw? Other than Chuck Wepner.
I never consider myself the greatest. I was just a tough guy. I could take a good punch. My forte was my condition.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wear guys down. I was, papers used to call me an intimidator. I'd wear guys down after 3 or 4 or 5 rounds, I'd catch up. You had to be in good shape to fight me because I was always, I didn't have a lot of talent, but I had a great condition. That's what I used to win on. But I think the greatest all-around fight I ever saw in his heyday, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
It'd be the first 25 fights before they took the 4 years off. He was 25-0, I believe, with 22 knockouts. Is that right, honey? My wife actually knows more about. As a matter of fact, the night that I fought Ali, she was sitting in the living room watching it. The whole family was cheering for Muhammad Ali. Of course, that was before she knew me. And the only one cheering for me was her brother-in-law, Nicky. And, I got to meet Linda after I fought for the title. And we dated for a while, and then I didn't see her for 16 years. And then I ran into her again through a friend of mine, and by that time I had slowed down a little bit, as far as wanting to party and wanting to be a big shot and everything. It goes with the territory, when you hold titles and everything else, it just... A lot of times it goes to your head maybe too much. Anyway, we wound up getting married, and Linda and I are married now over 13 years.
My father, we were talking about who he said, and I'm sure you'll know the fighter. He always said the best fighter he ever saw was Willie Pep.
Oh, Willie Pep was great. Willie was a very dear friend of mine, and matter of fact, I used to book him and a lot of the old timers to different things. Matter of fact, we were just up the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm in the International Boxing. I'm in about 4 Hall of Fame, but this one's up in Canastota. That's the big one. And Willie was supposed to be there in November, and he didn't show up because he was sick. He wound up dying a few weeks later.
Wouldn't it be great if you can come in this time frame right about now with these heavyweight that we don't even know who they are? Imagine that with the paycheck. Ken would be able to just count your money. He wouldn't even care at that point.
Well, maybe he can still do that. I'm sure Ken's hoping that the movie goes well, and if the movie, Redemption, 11 Times the Real Rocky, if the movie goes well, I'm quite sure that Ken could still do that. Because,
I'm sure he can. The last question I'm going to ask you, and I'll let you go because I know it's a long day. You're talking here, you were talking before the show went on, and you talked about I saw this fighter, and you saw Larry Holmes, and there's a camaraderie with boxers. You fight in the ring, you really go after each other, you try to knock each other out.
Yes.
But when the fight is over, there is that respect, camaraderie you have.
Definitely. Well, you know what it is? I think more than anything else, it's a one-on-one sport. It's, football, basketball, baseball, they're all great sports. I watch them all, I love them. But it's in baseball, there's 8 other guys beside you. In football, there's 10 other guys beside you. In basketball, 4 other guys. In the ring and in boxing, it's just you. You're in there by yourself, and you know how tough it is to get yourself in great shape. And I don't say that we're any better athletes than any of those sports, because they're all great athletes. But I do say that it's a one-on-one sport, and that's why there's so much respect there.
John?
Well, the stamina, the stamina to box. I mean, being in there and people hitting you and the kidneys and all that, and at a point you can't even move with the arms. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it slows you down. I was lucky in 147 fights, amateur and pro. I was never knocked out. I was only down one time with Ali in the 15th round from exhaustion, and I got up. But I could always take a great punch. But, that doesn't always win for you. You have to have tremendous skill, too, and it goes for that for any sport.
Did you see the 7-foot Russian?
I saw replays. Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine? This big guy comes out there, boom, boom. They don't move, and then you have a guy who's about 10 inches shorter, beats him up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, the guy made some money, and I'm sure he'll go back to
millions,
Russia or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure he did make millions. Then he'll go back, and he'll be a rich man. Good for him.
Mr. Mayor, final word before we let Mr. Wepner go?
Just a thought, boxing has been a sport, goes all the way back to some of those films of Jack Johnson, going back to turn of the century. But notice on TV this rising coming combination of martial arts and boxing, where this has created tremendous spectator on the cable channels. And Chuck, I just thought if you have a comment about some of these guys and the way they fight versus traditional boxing.
I'm also a black belt in Ishiru, karate, and jiu-jitsu. I studied the arts for about 5 years. Matter of fact, my senseis, I have 2 senseis, Ralph Passero and Vincent Marchetti. One's a 9th degree and the other one's a 10th degree, red belt and black belt. And it's martial arts. Karate is a lot like boxing. It's just snapping of punches and everything, and it goes hand in hand.
Well, I think the time is just about up, and Chuck, I want to thank you for coming and spending some time for here. Not only a great ambassador for boxing, you're a great ambassador for New Jersey and this country. Thank you very much. You did a great job.
10 days.
We're going to stay and continue talking, maybe we'll do it again. Ken, I want to thank you so very much for bringing Chuck up here. It's a great privilege and honor for us to interview him and talk to him. And you're right, he has a lot of stories.
Lots of stories.
We could stay here till 12 o'clock and he'll still give us stories.
Absolutely.
You should be writing some books.
You write a book.
Why not
They
write
wrote a book. Excuse me, it's called Behind His Face.
I just wanted to say that I was happy that everything turned out for Chuck in that lawsuit, because it was a correction of a wrong that was done 30 years ago. When that case started, and the other lawyer and I were talking, he came to me with this proposition of this possible case, and I said to the other lawyer, I said, well, this is an interesting case since it happened 30 years ago. We're going to have some difficulties with this, statute of limitations, things like that. But it really was a wrong that happened, and meeting Chuck and getting to know him, not only as a lawyer did it give me a lot of gratification, but personally it made me feel good to redress that grievance, and I was happy that we got that accomplished.
Sure, and somebody who still goes to work after all these years, fighting for the championship is a special person, and you look to help that person as much as possible. Again, the movie will be out in how long from now? About a year?
Yeah, we're hoping out by the end of the year. They have to place, by the end of the beginning of next year, they got to put it in the right time slot. You don't want to put out a movie the same week or so that De Niro and Pacino are making a movie. You want to wait till Joe Schmo and somebody else is in a movie. This way you got a better shot of being number one. That's very important, to be number one your first week.
Well, your movie come out at the same time our movie's coming out, because nobody. Yeah, they're making a movie. Frank Cole and the Fury. Yeah, so you'll be number one of the box. I can guarantee you. Thank you very much. I want to again thank Chuck Wepner, Ken Pollard, John Francola, the Mayor of Washington Township, Rudy Wenzel, our photographer Rich Cosell, and the gang here at WCTV, all the volunteers. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, and keep watching WCTV. Good night, everybody.
Even after all the history they've had, Ali and Wepner were still associates and considered friends. And on Ali's funeral, Wepner did go on to speak about it and speak about his feelings for Ali, in which he still considers Ali as the greatest.
I'm joined now by Chuck Wepner. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us here on BBC News. Chuck, you were the inspiration for the movie Rocky, and you went 15 rounds with Muhammad Ali and lived to tell the tale.
Well, I was in shape. I never trained full time because I was never subsidized.
But Don King paid me to go away to camp. I got in great shape. Went 15 rounds with Ali, had him down in the 9th round. And they made the movie Rocky. Stallone made the movie Rocky shortly thereafter.
And what's your memory of Muhammad Ali? What was he like?
He was awesome. Awesome. He was so funny and so much fun and such a gentleman. And I was with him, I toured with him for about a week or 10 days after playing Mr. Tutike in Washington. And then we had a dinner with the President Jimmy Carter. And he was so much fun, and in the ring, he was the best. He was the greatest. I hit him a lucky punch under the heart, a right hand to the body, he was off balance. But other than that, boy, I tell you, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, that was true.
He must have been an absolutely ferocious competitor in the ring, though.
He was great. He talked his stuff to you while he was fighting, I see what you got, Whitey, and stuff like that. But it all went toward promoting the fight.
And of all the fights that he had, which one is the most memorable to you?
It would have to be me going 15 rounds, but other than that, the first fight with Joe Frazier, the 15 rounds. That was the end of an era. After that, fighters didn't fight 15 anymore like we did. But that fight with Joe Frazier was just awesome.
When you see all the crowds that have turned out here today to celebrate him as a boxer and also to celebrate his legacy outside the ring, how moving is it for you when considering that you knew him?
Actually, it broke my heart. When I heard it, I was just about in tears. You expect somebody like Muhammad Ali, who's a living legend, to never die. You're hoping he never dies because the world needs people like Ali. And when he finally passed away, and we called one of his daughters, Maymay, Miriam, and she said, my father was so sick near the end, Chuck. And, felt a little better because sometimes, when you're so sick, maybe it's better that God lets you go and join him upstairs.
But Chuck, you're a boxer. You know the toll it takes on the body. Do you feel it took a toll on Muhammad Ali that his Parkinson's was somehow related to the boxing?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's definitely related to the boxing. And, it takes toll on everybody. I'm so lucky. I fought 147 amateur and pro fights and for 21 years. And I'm still okay. I'm 77 years old. I'm 7 pounds. I fought for the title. That hurt. Anyway, but I feel great. I'm with my third wife, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you, Linda. You're live on BBC News.
She
saved my life.
BBC. There you go.
Right.
Naomi Watts, right?
Yeah, well, she's playing Linda in the movie about it.
Naomi
Oh
Watts
my
is playing
gosh!
her.
Well,
How lucky am I?
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
But I'm not surprised that she's playing you.
Liv Schreiber's playing me, and Naomi Watts is playing her. We have a whole bunch of stars in it. We have 6 major stars in it. And we're looking forward to it.
All right, Chuck, just a final question for you. As we remember Muhammad Ali here today, what's your absolute favourite memory of him?
The first time I met him. First time I met him, we did met him really personally, talked to him, was on the Mike Douglas show. And we sat there for half an hour going back and forth. And I was just so impressed by his ability to tell jokes and his ability to talk well, and he was a sharp guy, very sharp guy, and I consider myself pretty sharp telling jokes and come back, and we went 1 for 1, and we had a great time that night.
Chuck Wepner, Mrs. Wepner, thank you so much for joining us here on BBC News. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your memories of Muhammad Ali.
I'm going to call Naomi when we get back and tell her.
You do that. Thank you very much, Chuck. So many memories being shared with us here on BBC News of Muhammad Ali. You can see there the car that's carrying his casket processing through the streets of Louisville, carrying him to the Cave Hill Cemetery, where he will be buried in a private ceremony. Then this afternoon, the memorial service, that star-studded memorial service with President Bill Clinton, among others, delivering a eulogy. And people have come here from across the world, from across America, to pay their respects and to pay tribute to Muhammad Ali.
A few years back, a crowd of several hundred people attended the recent unveiling ceremony for the statue of the boxing champion Chuck Wepner at the newly renovated Dennis P. Collins Park. The statue of the 83-year-old Wepner stands near the first street between Avenue C and Zabriskie Avenue. The Marine Corps representatives marched in the opening of the ceremony. Their presence honored Wepner's Marine Corps service, where they credited Chuck Wepner for having to put Bayonne on the map. Also in attendance was Lee Schreiber, the man who portrayed Chuck Wepner himself in the movie Chuck, aka the Brawler or the Bleeder.
Hello, Bayonne. I just want to say that I know everybody thought that this story was the Rocky story, this story was the Ali story, this story was the Sly Stallone story. I gotta say, at risk of being punched in the head, everything I knew about Chuck pointed to the fact that this was my story. That this was a guy who was fighting his own demons harder and better than any person I've ever met in my life. And that's what made him the great champion that he is. He won every fight he fought. Every single fight he fought.
I was in the street.
When
we unveil it and he sees the head that it looks like Chuck, I don't think he'll say it's his statue anymore. He wanted it to look like Rock Hudson. He may be the best looking Chuck Wepner will ever see. That is a typical Bayonne story. That somehow or another, a man this talented found his way moving into Bayonne for the first time and found his way into each and every one of our hearts. So today, we also honor Jemwu with a proclamation on his death.
The reason I'm here is because of all you guys. I'll never leave Bayonne, and I'm going to ask the mayor, when I go, I'm being cremated. Stick me in the ground next to my statue. That'll make me happy. Thank you all very much, and have a great day. Thank you again for coming. Thank you.
Chuck, the biographical sports drama film made for Chuck Wepner, was released in 2016. The film depicts the life of the heavyweight boxer Chuck Wepner and his 1975 title fight with Muhammad Ali, which, as we all know by now, inspired the Sylvester Stallone films. The film was received well, garnering around 81% approval rating, with one review stating, "Chuck is a hit with a handful of sports biopic cliches, but ultimately punches above its weight, largely thanks to the muscular performance of Lev Schreiber."
Here I am. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm Kimberly's dad.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wepner.
You can call me Chuck, champ. You follow boxing?
No, I don't.
No? You see Rocky?
Chuck.
You don't know me.
You don't, Chuck Wepner.
Well, you do know me, but you don't know you know me. Once upon a time, I was the heavyweight champ in New Jersey. I was the best.
Hey, Dal, set my man up with whatever he wants.
And some guy named Stallone wrote a screenplay inspired by me. I was like, what?
It's the real Rocky.
I told you know me. The real Rocky.
Everything's gonna be different now, baby.
If you want to keep working, you're gonna have to stay famous.
What are you that meets the eye, Chuck Wepner?
Sometimes life is like a movie. Sometimes it's better.
Oh, Jesus.
Look at the picture.
Look at you, like he's your girlfriend.
Come on, just push the button.
As of the recording of this video, Chuck Wepner is currently 85 years old and is still doing what he loves, selling and tasting liquor while talking boxing. Chuck Wepner finally ended his career and everything with a total of 51 fights, 35 wins, 17 wins by KO, only suffering 14 losses and 2 draws. Chuck Wepner's story is something just like the movie Rocky. It should be admired and inspirational, seeing how this man was a working man and got the shot at glory and went for it, and did so well at it that it inspired generations. If you're ever in the New Jersey area, be sure to go and visit the statue of Chuck Wepner. Pay your respects, give the stairs a run, and always remember, because he's living proof, that there is no progress without struggle, and it's all about attitude. I've been Piffle the Boxing Clown. Thank you so much for watching and listening on this little mini doc on Chuck Wepner.